Hi learners, welcome to the channel. Today let's discuss on modulation and need for modulation. Okay, if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe and stay connected with me. Happy learning. Come, let's dive into the topic. What is modulation? Modulation is the process of variation of some characteristics of a high frequency wave. That high frequency wave, we call it as carrier wave, in accordance with the instantaneous value of a modulating signal. Okay, what is that? Variation. It is a process of variation. So you're going to change something. What you're going to change? You're going to change the high frequency wave, which you call it as a carrier wave. Why you call it as a carrier wave? Because this wave is going to be transmitted to a longer distances carrying the audio frequency signal. So this high frequency wave, we call it as carrier wave, in accordance with the instantaneous value of modulating signal. Why we choose high frequency wave? Why not low frequency wave? Low frequency wave will have low strength, so it cannot be transmitted to a longer distance, whereas high frequency wave has higher strength so that it can be transmitted to a longer distance. So this high frequency wave, we call it as a carrier wave because it is going to carry some audio frequency signal to a longer distance. Okay, what is in accordance with the instantaneous value of modulating signal? You see, at every point, at every time of audio frequency signal, we are going to change the high frequency wave. Okay, now look at the picture. Audio frequency signal. What is audio frequency signal? It can be a music, it can be a speech, it can be anything audio, isn't it? So audio frequency, AO signal is audio frequency signal. That audio frequency signal is sent to a modulator. What this modulator is going to do? This modulator is going to modulate the high frequency signal. Okay, so for this you need to add high frequency signal. So that high frequency signal is being generated by high frequency signal oscillator. Finally, the end product, you see, it is amplitude modulated signal which has higher strength compared to audio frequency signal, because this audio frequency signal we have modulated and we have merged with high frequency signal and it is being transmitted to longer distances. Okay, come, now let's express this with the equation. So C of t is equal to AC into sine omega ct plus phi. Okay, this carrier wave may be continuous, that is sinusoidal, or it may be in the form of pulses. So this is the equation. A sinusoidal carrier wave can be represented as C of t is equal to AC sine omega ct plus phi, where C of t is the signal strength. So carrier wave signal strength is being modulated, isn't it? So that modulation is given by C of t is a signal strength, that is, it can be voltage or current. So you can make it as a voltage variation or current variation. So AC is the amplitude of the wave you are going to transmit. Amplitude means height of the wave from the mean position. Omega c is the frequency, that is angular frequency, and phi is the initial phase of the carrier wave. You see learners, during the process of modulation, any of the three parameters, that is any three means that is the amplitude or angular frequency or the initial phase of the carrier wave, can be controlled by the modulating signal. Okay. What is the need for modulation? Why do we do this process actually? Okay, a message signal usually spreads over a range of frequencies called the signal bandwidth. So there is a range of frequency. What do you mean by that? It is the signal bandwidth. Suppose we wish to transmit an electronic signal in the audio frequency, or it can be a music or a speech, that is audio frequency. That range is 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz. over a long distance directly, isn't it? That is, this audio frequency signal is so weak, so we cannot directly transmit to a longer distances. Yes, this direct transmission of audio frequency signal cannot be done due to the following factors. Number 1, the size of the antenna or aerial. Yes, an antenna is needed both for transmission and reception. Each antenna should have a size comparable to the wavelength of the signal, that is at least lambda by 4 in size, quarter of the wavelength of the signal. Okay, for example, an electromagnetic wave of frequency 20 kilohertz, wavelength is 15 kilometer. So what would be the length of the antenna? The length of the antenna should be 15 divided by 4 kilometer, which is equal to 3.75 kilometer. Obviously, such a long antenna is not possible. Hence, antenna length can be made reasonable if the frequency is high. Okay. Hence, there is need to convert low frequency signal into high frequency signal before transmission. The second factor is effective power radiation by an antenna. Okay. So you see, power P radiated from a linear antenna of length L is proportional to L by lambda the whole square. Hence, antenna length can be made reasonable if the frequency is high. Hence, there is a need to convert low frequency signal into high frequency signal before transmission. The third factor is mixing up of signals from different transmitters. Suppose many people are talking at the same time, or many transmitters are transmitting baseband information signal simultaneously. Okay, what happens? All these signals will get mixed up and there is no simple way to distinguish between them. Okay, so the possible solution is to use communication at high frequencies and allotting band of frequencies to each message signal for its transmission. Okay, so one person is talking a separate band of frequency, another person is talking a separate band of frequency. Okay, to overcome these difficulties, the message signal is superimposed. Superimposed means putting one signal over the other signal on a high frequency wave. Okay, some characteristics of which varies as a function of instantaneous value of the signal and the resulting wave so produced after modulation is being transmitted. Okay. So some of the terms related to modulations are the message signal is called as modulating signal. Otherwise, this modulating signal is called as modulating wave. Okay. So the high frequency wave is called as the carrier wave. Okay. And the resulting wave after modulation is called modulated wave. And this whole process is called modulation. Hi learners. That's all for today's section. Hope you have learned something from this. If you have found this channel and the video enlightening, please do subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. Happy learning. Bye-bye. I'm Judy.